Because of the stress this issue has caused me, I've had a decreased appetite on food and plenty of sleep lost the last couple of days. What has caused me so much stress? I'm not gonna say right now. The purpose of this video is to hold leaders accountable for public sin that's well known and that has gone outside the borders of this country. The Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 13, that he that covereth his sin shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. That verse not only applies to individuals, but also to institutions. Now you're probably asking yourself, if you don't know, why are you speaking in so broad terms? I don't even understand what you're talking about. Well, the point isn't for you to understand what I'm talking about if you don't already know. The point is to hold leaders accountable. Public sin must be publicly confessed. You can't come into an assembly where there's few students and acknowledge it there and say that your job is done. No, your job is not done. It must be publicly confessed. The news of this has already gone outside this country. What impression does this give to students? What impression does this give to those who don't believe in God? The name of God and of this institution will be reproached if silence is continued. There needs to be an official public statement, one that we don't have to hear secondhand. That's not something that I demand. That's something that God demands, because God says public sin must be publicly confessed. But private sin also must be privately confessed to God and forsaken. There needs to be a full and faithful investigation as to where it all went wrong, beginning from when he was hired, who hired him, what was his background before he got hired, till right now, how his behaviors were manifested. All these things need to be faithfully investigated, publicly confessed, and publicly forsaken. If I kept silence any longer about this situation, it would be because I'm being disloyal to my conviction of duty, and I'll be being disloyal to God. I realize that for telling the truth, there's always a high price to pay. For the apostles, it was death. For Jesus, it was death. For the prophets, it was persecution, and some of them, death. Many of them, death. But whatever the consequences may be for me speaking out, by the grace of God, I'm ready to take them on. This isn't for me. In fact, I'm a coward. It is only because of the grace of God that I have the courage and I have the strength to publicly confess this, to publicly condemn this hypocrisy, this silence. It's not right to those high in authority to whom this message is directed. I plead with you, please handle this matter the right way, the way in which God would have you do it. because everyone knows what happened. It's not okay to keep silent or to make private statements that are not public. And to those high in authority who already know me because we've already crossed paths, understand this, that from the day I came on this campus, I have set my heart to do the will of God. Of course, there's been times I've disagreed with stuff. Yeah, I've disagreed, I admit, but I've always done it in the most respectful manner I knew how, and I know how. I am not trying to undermine your authority. I am not trying to create anarchy. I'm trying to hold you accountable, if nobody else will. It is not my purpose to undermine your authority. My purpose is to vindicate the honor of God and to hold you accountable for the wrong things that are done. I have fully purposed in my heart that whatever the consequences may be for speaking out, let them come. Because the Bible tells me in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 25, that the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. The purpose of this video is not to smudge this institution of higher learning. If that was my purpose, I would have already done that, because it is well within my power to do so. But this is God's university. Despite its mistakes, this is still God's university, and God is calling it to a higher standard than this. This is unacceptable. God is not pleased with what was done. Not only for this university is this message for, but for all institutions of higher learning of Seventh-day Adventists that are compromising. This message is for you too. We need to return back to God as a people. We can't be covering sin up. We must publicly confess our sins. Then can God bless us. But if we decide to cover up our sins, God cannot bless us. We shall not prosper. And as always, this is Prepare for Translation, reminding you that Jesus is coming. Are you ready? Maranatha. Just before I go, on a side note, to the brother that has my suitcase, you need to give it back, bro. It's been so long. I don't know if it's been a month, but it's been a really long time. I don't remember how you look like. I don't remember your face. But my suitcase looks something like this. So if you see a suitcase that looks like that around here, it's probably mine. So you have my permission to look for me. I'm not hard to find. And as concerning the video, I give this institution until Sabbath evening to condemn the wrong act that has been done publicly. Otherwise, although unwilling I am to do it, that's why I made this video. I will do it. I will condemn it if nobody else will.